nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh, hey, what's up?
Okay, we had a potential guest, Sean Rowland from Link Exteriors, to give us a quote on some of the work up at Adam Hall. If he comes in, we're gonna slip him in because we don't wanna tie him up all day. If he doesn't, then we'll cross that road when we come to it. Okay, minute approval for the regular meeting of 2/16/2026.
From my comprehension, they looked accurate. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
EJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Good. That's cool.
Okay. All right. Schedule reports. Try to get those zoning inspector.
Okay, gentlemen, so I'll have a printout of activities to process 15 applications. We had three of those ended up in denials. Two of them in addition, couple decks, fence, and we do have potential 5 to variances and/or conditional uses, 3 of which came from the denials, so. And that's it, I'll concede my time, because unless you want to take it now, but it's all listed under old business, those 3 other items. I can talk about them now, or I can talk about them later.
Okay, well, Frank, can you hold for just a second?
Sure.
And what we'll do is we're gonna let Mr. Fenstermaker do his report. Due to potential inclement weather tonight,
Yeah, they're talking
I'd like
possible
to-
ice tonight.
let's get the Mike moving so he can get out of there and get some
Yeah,
sleep
no
before he
problem.
hits the road. So we'll jump temporarily to Mr. Fenstermaker's highway superintendent report.
Road report for March 2026. We had several weather events in February. We plowed and salted 15 rounds for the month. We used about 239 tons of salt for the month. Gives us a yearly use of 2,140 tons for the year. We have about 800 to 900 tons in the dome right now, so we're in good shape to go on. We did order 400 tons at the beginning of the month. That order was filled, and I just ordered 300 tons last week. Came within a day. And as far as people talking about that shortage, it's not a problem right now. Repairs, the asphalt roller toward the end of the year last year, you can see the rear drum the bearings were shot in it, so the guys, they took the roller all apart. There's some requisitions for some parts that we're signing right now, mainly bearings. While they had it apart, the front sprocket was bad, the chain was bad, so we're gonna replace that. I know they had the brakes all apart today, so we'll see what kind of, I think they were able to weld those up, we don't need to order parts. We did replace the cutting edge on truck 19, my truck. We had an auger bearing go bad in truck 18, we replaced that. And we did ship the boom mower to Edinburgh, so they're gonna look that over. I think they just got to the point where they're looking at it. Apparently the brake fluid that was leaking out is internal. And to repair that, they said they gotta take the rear end, they gotta get into the rear case.
A little bit.
They said it's gonna be a project. That's the only information I got on that so far. They haven't had a chance to look at the clutch issues. They're working on the brake issues right now. We did have a few nice days the past month, so we did get out and fill some potholes on Crackle 1, Crackle 2, White Oak, Auburndale, Sablewood. We went in Auburn Lakes, Indian Hills, Stafford, Colchester, Lancaster, and Derbyshire. Any breaks we get this week between rain, we'll go out and check again for any potholes. Keep a close eye on those. I know there's a few here and there, nothing major, but a few here and there. The engineers sent over a draft. It's not the final specifications. They said they should be ready for all the road projects for the next meeting. They said that they would have the finalized specs and everything for this year's road projects on the 9th of March, and they'll be ready for you guys to sign on the 16th of March. The estimate, they came back again after we went through some things with the engineers. It's the exact same estimate, nothing has increased. It's 1.225 million for the road projects for this year. Dan said that should not be a problem this year. We should have plenty of money to hit a couple big subdivisions that are falling apart right now. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions or issues with Mr. Fenstermaker?
No, just make a comment on the Manaway joint project, we're going to issue 2 money. That paperwork's moving along through the Portage County engineer now, so, and I think the county actually is finishing up with that application for us.
Right, I believe Shane said he sent everything in.
Yeah.
So as long as it doesn't get kicked back for any reasons, it's going, and that's for 2027.
Yeah.
Next year's project. So Crackle 1 and Crackle 2 will be a joint project between us and Manaway, repaid.
Okay. Anything else for Mr. Fenstermaker? You are relieved.
Yeah,
They did say go
I appreciate that, they got fingers
rid
crossed.
of the potential ice that's coming.
Let's hope it doesn't come.
It's gonna be a minor event, and so nothing to lose sleep over.
It's gonna be minor for us, that's a minor for you.
That's right.
Alrighty, Frank, we're gonna set you back again,
Okay.
because Sean Rowland, I believe, has...
Yep.
Come on,
So-
what do you got, Sean? Let us know what you got.
I'm gonna leave a stack of my cards here. I do apologize. I have to leave after I talk to pick up my son. So if anyone has questions, they can call or email
That's
me.
why we moved you up the schedule.
I appreciate
Not
it.
that particular reason, but
In regards to the roof at Adam Hall, I know it's been a problem forever. I know there's been a lot of repairs, a lot of new roofs, and it doesn't seem to be fixed. I went over there and I inspected it. I did a smoke test in the attic space on the ventilation, and there's no ventilation up there whatsoever. So it looks like they built the building around a building. When they did that, there's barriers that block the way the attic should be vented. So thinking through solutions of that, either one, you guys undertake a big project inside, removing those walls so air can move through. That would be very expensive, I would imagine. I'm not 100% certain, but what I'm proposing is doing a cold roof system on there. So I'll put it in the easiest terms possible. Cold roof is actually basically a roof built on top of a roof. There's foam that goes on top of the existing roof, keeps all the heat from the attic away. There's a space between the old roof and the new roof for air to move through, and then there's a new roof built on top. Obviously there's a little more to it. That keeps it cold, things won't melt, ice dams won't build up. Unless that roof's vented properly, you got the air handler systems up there, all that stuff, it's just super hot. Gets hot, snow melts, runs down to your eaves, turns into ice dams, and you guys had them bad. I mean, the soffits were completely full of ice and water when I was there. That'll keep happening. It seems like you guys have been treating the symptoms of the problem and not the actual problem. I think a cold roof system would fix that for you. I don't think you would have any more problems. I've done them in the past. I called all my customers that I've done cold roofs for when this came up. All of them had a great winter this year, and this year was terrible. No problems, no ice dams, no icicles. So it seemed to solve their problems. I think it would be perfect for that. I do own the company. I live in town. So if there is an issue, everything's warranted. Right down the road, I'll zip over and take care of it for you. That's probably going to be the most cost-effective solution to what you guys got going on over there. If you have somebody go up there and just put on a new roof, ice and water guard, a whole bunch of it, new ventilation, it doesn't matter because nothing's moving. Yeah, nothing's moving through the attic. So without getting in there, crunching those walls down and adding, void spaces, you're kind of going to be stuck where you are until.
Crunching the walls down, what's specific?
So I did some research. It sounds like that place used to be a auction house or something like that.
Pole barn, yeah, it was pole
So
barn.
Yeah.
there's walls where they built around that. They built up to add the roof frame. So basically, you're
In
blocking.
the attic.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So you're blocking any air that's coming through the soffit to go out the ridge. So it's just super hot in there. It was hot in there when I was up there, and it was 2 weeks ago. So, you know, hot attic is not good. It should be the same temperature as outside. Cold roof's not affected by anything going on inside. It's basically its own separate system.
This was a good year for you to go up and get a look at it, because it was showing you
Yeah.
what's going on.
And I
this
did
year.
do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I mean, I did a smoke test. I put smoke up there, and when we do that, typically we should see it sucking up through the soffit and blowing out the ridge vent. It was just sitting stagnant up there.
Is this a metal roof you're talking?
The roof surface material doesn't matter. Whatever you guys want to do with that. It could be metal. It could be shingles. You know, that's up to you.
You put like furring strips on the old?
So basically, I use a system called an AC cross vent. It's all one system, but yes, it's basically furring strips on the roof. There's foam that goes down first. There's a new vent that goes on the soffit area. There's space between the foam and the new roof, and then air just goes up and out the way it's supposed to. So yeah, I mean, in its easiest form, furring strips, new decking, some foam, new roof on top. It's a little more expensive than obviously doing just another roof, but the goal is, you know, you won't have to mess with it for the next 20 years.
Well, that'd be the hope, yeah. It probably became obvious maybe, I don't know, whenever we did the last total re-roof up there, that this is not the solution, because
Yeah.
it behaved the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we did get quotes last year for a re-roof from, I think, 3 different guys in August, but I wasn't gonna be a part of doing that again, unless we looked at something a little more intricate.
Yeah, and you know, I looked at some of that stuff, and a lot of guys don't do cold roofs. It's kind of a specialty kind of deal, and they're not going to suggest it. They'll say, oh, you know, we'll do more ice and water guard, we'll do this, we'll do that. Well, at the end of the day, that's not going
It's not
to
enough.
fix anything.
I'm highly interested. I look forward to looking at.
I've been working on some stuff. I will email a nice packet with all the information you need to Riley. You can pass it out. If anybody does have more questions, I left my cards up there. It's my cell phone and my email. Feel free to shoot me a message. Wouldn't take that long. 3 days, something like that. And go through another winter and, you know, see how it turned out. But again, if you have an issue, I'm here. I'll come down and make sure it's taken care of.
Yeah, if you end up doing a quote like a steel roof and a
I can do that.
standard, I mean, just a,
Yeah.
Gutters, no gutters.
I'll have all that stuff itemized on there. You guys can a la carte, you know, pick and choose how you
Yeah,
want.
readjustment of the gutters would be part of this too, wouldn't it?
Yes, we'd have to move them because the roof will be a little bit higher.
It
You know,
will be higher, so shouldn't have to monkey with the gazebos too much then.
The gazebo's fine, and the garage chunk that kind of sticks out the back,
Yeah.
that one looked good too, you know,
Okay.
just because it was an addition. Just that main kind of part.
Alright.
hey, great.
Cool. I'll
Thank you, Sean. We'll
yes.
let you get your son.
I'll email stuff to Riley this week, and you know, keep me posted.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
for-
thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I sure do. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I had asked Sean from when I met him not to provide it. Like he said, a la carte, there's a lot of options, but to be fair, the quotes that we received last year ranged, I believe, 45 to 80 grand range. So this is a big expense, or it will be. And to be fair to whoever else, my goal with Sean was to see if we can agree on a type of work we want to put out for a scope of work, and then gather additional quotes. And I don't want to assume, but whether they go under or over $75,000, also, it'd probably be wise just to present to them as sealed bids, which is why I didn't want him to even give any pricing structure, because, well, we don't know what we want, and it wouldn't be fair to anybody else. I know that's maybe kind of a newer thing, but we could
Well, I mean,
apply that.
that makes sense. It is one of those things, you got somebody now who's already invested some time in it. If we know it's gonna be above the threshold, we know it, we don't have any choice but to go out for bid. So you don't want somebody to basically, it'd be nice to submit and let them do all the engineering for free, and then you send it out for bid, so that wouldn't be fair to him,
I
so.
think they just increased the threshold to what,
So I was
79,000?
gonna say, it's a little bit over 75 now.
Even if they come under, I thought it's still fair.
Right.
I really just wanted to see if we can get to an agreement. Are we going to have to hire an engineer to say that that's a good idea, or are we not? And once we figure that out, then I could build the scope of work, what we expect, what we want, and then we could put it on the newspaper, or Facebook, or our website, and gather up some additional quotes. And then
From what I've
decide.
heard and what I've seen that we've done so far, this seems like the most logical course of action to take care of the problem with the smallest amount of cost, not that it's going to be a small amount, but
Yeah, that
comparatively
doesn't,
speaking.
that doesn't involve taking that entire roof off
Yeah.
and redoing it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's,
I'd look forward to seeing his proposal on email and, you know, some diagrams and things.
yeah.
But he did a great job of explaining it, but I'd like to still see it in black and white.
I think, okay, let's say we're all in agreement that, at least for the short term, that is probably the most logical course of action to take care of the problem.
Excuse me, what you're just talking about is, doing a double roof on that, I know that you can only apply shingles twice, maybe 3 times on a roof. Is it gonna put any burden on a truss, is adding that extra weight to it?
Good
That would be-
question.
That'd be one question I'd ask, and maybe Frank can answer it if he knows.
Frank? It's kind of,
I'm sorry, I kind of threw you under the bus, Frank, but the Adam Hall thing, if he adds that extra roof, is it gonna put more stress on the trusses that are at Adam Hall right now?
Possibly, that's something I think they would have to look into, yes.
Okay. that's-
And then even with that, you would, if things work, you're gonna have additional snow load too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so like I said, everything, we'll probably have some outside engine, some structural engineering work in order to.
Quite possibly, yeah.
For the plywood part of it, you're allowed to have 2 roofs, just not plywood's
But
the way.
the weight issue is a good thing, because if we
yeah.
ignore that,
I don't know the answer.
they're not icing out, but the roof is falling in, that would be bad.
If they go with shingles, they'd have to have a plywood roof to put them on, so.
Right.
A metal roof,
Probably gonna be a lot lighter to.
yeah, you wouldn't need plywood then. I know they did that over my shed, they just, right over the top of the shingles, they put furring strips and metal roof and they were done.
So it seems like the first step, even with that presentation, you want me to
Yeah.
track it down?
Head in the right direction.
At least get someone to say what, sign off on it. I don't know if they'll guarantee anything, but that's what I'll do then.
Well, let's say it's the most logical solution that's been proposed so far.
Good place to start, yes.
All right, so I got a note to work on that, no problem. Great.
All right, back to Frank.
All right, well, on your own business, you have several things there. And I took the liberty, Jane and I took the liberty to contact the prosecutor's office and I've given you guys, I believe, each day, as far as the patio goes, like a step-by-step procedure that you should go to. And again, take a look at that, but this is what Chrissy says would have to be done, and here again, you will have to at some point involve her in the process. Either way, whether you modify or you don't, you know, she's gonna have to take it to the judge. So, Jane and I reached out, and we kinda put together a little thing for you there as far as the procedure and some of our comments about, you know, why some of the, you know, why the decisions were made originally, what the problem is. One thing that has always concerned me is the parking on Wing Road, or the road there, on that right side of the building. I think whatever we a judgment entry, or whatever you guys finally decide, I think that parking should be eliminated. They have plenty of parking behind the building now, but that big, huge parking lot. But parking there on that
And even-
side of the building is kind of,
But even that there, as it sits right now, we've just kind of been letting them do it, but
right,
they're parking on the street illegally.
yeah, because it's all in the road right away.
And Frank, if that, the old logic that the telephone poles are a foot inside the right of way,
That's correct.
they're backing into the county right of way, even when they park out on the
Yeah.
south end.
Right.
Yeah, it's,
But the side is, they're all in, vehicles parked on the side there, they're all in the road right away. So, that's something you guys should consider as well, and then I think we did mention, in there about the patio, the outside patio being, and I don't know what the law is anymore, but part of the reason that outdoor patio was allowed to be put in to begin with was because of smoking, people smoking. I don't know if the laws have changed or have been relaxed or what, but that was kind of part of the reason for their request and why it was granted originally to allow them to do that was because they have to go outside the building to smoke. So
Before that,
If they have-
everybody was basically hanging around the front of the building,
which was not a good scenario, so you have that gives you kind of a scope of how you're supposed to go about it, and, and I didn't mean to step on anybody's toes, but I just thought we could get an answer quicker from her, maybe than you guys could. So, all right, the next thing on it you have there is, the second dwelling. What we have done there, Mike, you and PJ said we could reach out to a private attorney to see if they would be interested in looking at that situation that Chrissy says that she doesn't want to handle. So I think Jane just today got a call back from the second one, and we'll get some prices to know what it will cost us to meet with them and see if it's worth addressing that issue or not, as far as a second dwelling on a parcel of land.
No, and the second dwelling right now, as far as we know, no one is living in that dwelling.
That's correct.
And the issue
As far
is,
as we know.
so, all they would, what would they have to do to
Well,
remove that?
basically, what we've always done in the past is make them, if there's a shower, they're allowed a commode and a sink. Anything else, shower, all kinds of utensils like stoves and refrigerators and all. Refrigerators, not so much, but stoves, gotta go. So, and that's the way we've always done it up until, this past ruling that she came down with. So that's what, and the one attorney said to Jane, his suggestion is, since the party in question that brought this all to a head, it was a lawyer dealing with a lawyer, maybe he can simply reach out to that other lawyer and say, look, our zoning inspector would like to come on the property and see if this is done, and be done with it, and it might be simple, and, but so, we'll see what their estimate comes back when they, but Jane has, kind of indicated, and they said that they would get back to us, so that's that one. Riley, you brought up, on the fee schedule, first of all, we haven't changed the residential and commercial variance requests and conditional use situations. We put together a scope there, again, and you can do it either way. You can change the fee or keep it the same, as long as, if you look at what we've highlighted there, if we just charge additional hours, after the 10-hour time, something like that, but we have not adjusted that fee. So that's up to you which way you wanna go, on that, it's, Jane is,
The
believe.
prosecutor's key thought on that was that we can charge a different rate for commercial
As long
and
as we can.
versus residential, so long as we can justify that
Yes,
increase.
absolutely, no problem. So. And then the last one, Riley had brought up about the use of the News Herald or a paper. If you want to change that to using the website, Facebook, you will have to, either trustees will have to initiate an amendment to change it, or to go to the zoning commission to ask them to change it, or somebody could pay the $1,000 fee and choose to do it. But it's written in our resolution that it must be put in a daily newspaper at the present time, so we would have to initiate an amendment to change that to strictly use, the public media and Facebook website. We use the website anyway, but I would still caution you, if you decide to go that way, and I know the Ohio Revised Code was modified last year to say, and the zoning commission looked at it last year, and they chose to leave it where it is. But if you decide to change that and go to public, I think we have to be real careful, because if, for say, something happens and we get challenged in a court of law, when we put it in the newspaper, we receive a certified notification that this ad was posted on this date in the paper. End of discussion. We got that there, and so nobody can ever say, well, you didn't put it in the paper at the legal time that has to be posted so many days before the hearing. If you go to social media, I don't know how we can verify that. I don't have that answer. I believe
Well,
Bain
look
would
into
make.
that to see,
Right.
somebody must have already addressed that issue where we'd say, okay, what are the guidelines for posting on social media?
Right, so, but, so that's the steps there you would have to do, so, it's up to you, but somebody's gonna have to change the resolution if you wanna do away with it.
What was the $1,000 you mentioned?
The $1,000 is what it costs to initiate an amendment, if it's not done by the trustees or the commission, if somebody privately does it. And that's $1,000 plus costs. So, but, I think that's all I have on it.
Okay.
Check.
We want to jump in now. The main thing we were looking at on this is whether or not we could charge a different thing. I think you've answered that. I'd like to make a motion to take this particular page, which has the zoning variance residential and commercial, as well as zoning amendment, residential and commercial prices as proposed. Accept those.
Yeah. You have the motion, I'll have the second.
Discussion.
Sure.
Did we post this anywhere for the residents to review, or has it only been for us?
It's only been for you guys. You guys set the fees,
Did the residents have any input on jumping fees up for a variance? 40%, 30%, $850 to question something? I mean, I'm just trying to get a little bit of feedback, because I know it's a little late now, but I should have asked this, I guess, a month ago. Or
You did.
did I ask that?
It's already been discussed.
Well, it's $550.
I'm asking if you saw it. Because we didn't go over all the numbers or anything, like, there's sheets
No, we never saw
of
it.
changes. If nobody wants to see it, that's their prerogative. I mean, But there at Facebook or our website, we post all sorts of things. I guess we could have posted it, but yeah, if we want to vote. I just want to check if anyone had any thoughts on jumping up the fees. If not,
What's the $850 for questioning what?
well, like a residential variance, if you went and requested a variance, it used to be $550. We're going to vote to change that to $850. Commercial, $550 to $850. Extended BZA meeting. I don't know exactly how that works. If we plan on running over, it's going to jump $100. Conditional use certificate, same thing, $550 to $850. Zoning amendment did not change, it was always $1,000. Then I'm missing the other, I know there was another sheet where we had the breakdown with some other costs. It's here somewhere.
Riley, you did go over those originally, all the fees and how much they were gonna go up. That's the reason you questioned them. So if anybody from the audience would have a question, they've already known that those fees were going up and how much they were going up. I believe you did that.
No, I didn't go over them. That's why I'm asking.
The three of you, the three trustees did, because that's the reason you only approved part of them and not all of them.
I just want to make sure if people saw it or not. That's it. No one cares, we vote.
Like I said, we just take zoning and they're just giving us, okay, an update on how much it actually costs. And, you know, we're not making any money on this, and even at this, by the time you go through all the costs of especially in a really large case, we're losing money, but it's like everything else we do as a township. Yeah, we plow the roads, we don't make much money plowing the roads, that just costs us money. So like, this was, you know, it really was just kind of like, just to take some of the hit off us, but not the total expenses, because, you know, Jane and Frank will agree that even at these prices, by the time the smoke clears, it's gonna cost us more money anyway. So we're just trying to recoup a little bit of our losses.
And I do believe we're pretty consistent with the rest of the county. That's something that's been looked at. And bottom line is, these become legal agreements.
We compared these fees with Bainbridge and, you know, several other townships, Munson, you know, Russell.
I was gonna hang it on my refrigerator when I got home, but it had a better use for it to keep it.
I just know right now, you're gonna have like 5 or 6 new cases coming in that they're gonna be meeting on, so. And they're still at the old fee, because we already processed this.
Yeah.
But I know from talking to people, or answering questions, there's gonna be 3 or 4 more variances down the road. Like, right now, just to give you a quick example, we have 2 variance requests for lots smaller than what current zoning is.
Residential?
Yes, and we have a variance request from a driveway. Guy wants to split a lot in another lot, but he wants to put the lot line too close to the driveway. We have a 15-foot setback, and he wants to go 5-6 feet, so. Those are 3 of them are coming right, they'll be coming up next month, this month and next month, so.
Okay, so.
We have a motion and a second.
BJ?
I'm gonna go yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. Okay. Anything else for Frank?
This is like a paraphrase conversation? Is that what this
Yeah.
is?
Well, yeah, she kind of explained the whole procedure and how we should do it, and then we ad-libbed a little bit by suggesting that you should set a time frame, have them in, have a discussion, and then make the decision, and then go from there.
Them meaning the patio.
Huh?
Them meaning the patio.
The patio, yes.
I'm saying there's like a ton of information on these 2 pages though.
Yeah,
This is paraphrased from a phone call with the prosecutor.
yeah. And,
Okay.
and the procedure part of it, yes, I mean, we've added some input about, you know, the live music, for instance, that wasn't discussed, but it was already brought up. It was an issue, we had an issue with the live music outside on the patio, which we told them they had to desist. That's not allowed under current judgment entry.
You wrote this?
Well, Jane and I put it together, yes.
You both wrote it.
Yeah, well, I worked on it with her and she wrote it up, you know.
Then you said the prosecutor doesn't want to mess with it. That was when you were talking about the entering somebody's property to inspect after the fact?
Yes, that has nothing to do with this procedure. That had to do with.
Oh, I know. I'm saying there's a lot of stuff here. That's why I'm trying to separate it.
No,
Because you're going between the patio and
right,
property rights and all, there's a lot of stuff here.
right.
Is this something that would not be, it's a paraphrased conversation. We wouldn't share this with the residents?
You can share with anybody, I mean, it's.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
once they
our-
give us anything, that's public record, they typed it up.
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 different
Yeah,
points in
I
here.
think that was something, it was more informational to kind of bring the trustees up to speed and just to give us an idea of exactly what's in, well, not exactly, but different things that are gonna be involved in.
well, I don't,
Patio and the
we,
different
in
steps we have to take.
in my almost 50 years, we've never done this before. We've never modified a judgment entry that I know of. I've been involved in several judgment entries, but we never took the procedure and changed, to change it or modify it in any way. So the question became, how do we do it? And, you know, it has to come, it's your procedure, I'm just giving, Jane and I just gave you an overview of how it's the steps that need to be done so that it's done kind of in a formal manner, in legal manner, so that everybody can be on the same page.
And again, we don't have to change anything, we can
No,
just
you
enforce
don't
it
have
as
to.
it sits.
You can stick to it.
Well, Frank, you opened a drawer in the back of my head here, because didn't this come up with the Ice Palace at some point?
Yes?
It did. Did we modify it ultimately there? I know we had a lot of meetings at county
No, we
offices.
didn't, we never modified it. The assistant prosecutor and I actually walked the property with the client, but no, we never modified it. The 2 judgment entries that come to mind is the Ice Palace and then the one with, Clempe's, what's it called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the ice, that was a conditional use.
yeah, conditional use, but there was things.
And then we had a change of ownership,
Yeah, a judgment entry, right,
right, so, yeah, that got pretty complex.
yeah.
So I remember my
We've
favorite
never,
part.
we've never gone back and modified them.
We never modified those. I know they wanted to. I can't remember the fellow's last name started with a W. He was the second owner, right? Or the first, no, there was the next owner that wanted. Yeah, because that went through a sheriff's sale.
Let's remember, because the back property owners, the,
You know,
Ice
involved
rink.
the fence and,
you know, they gave them the option, well, yeah, we could put up a fence there, or we can put up shrubbery, whatever you want. Of course, one house wanted a fence, the other house wanted
And
shrubbery.
I think there were outdoor speakers involved there, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
How would one be able to see that, since that would be public record, then how can I read that?
The simplest way, I guess, would just be email our
Make a report.
records retention.
Yeah, just,
I don't know if it's going to be posted online, or,
Do we have a form that you can fill out before she leaves?
Yeah.
We have a form.
yeah, just let us, you know,
We have
if
a
you want
form,
something
you-
specific, say you want a copy of that.
We have a form you can fill out before you leave.
Yeah, there's nothing secretive here at all.
No.
I'd give you my copy, but it's the only one I got.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, Jane's got it on her computer, she can just email it to, just have her email it to get your email address and Jane shoot it out. Sure, she'd be more than
You know, some of them are just points to look at both sides of, you know, I mean,
It was just informational, trying to
Right.
bring everybody up to speed.
yeah. There's, you know, there's a couple comments pro patio, there's a couple comments pro, you know, it's just things to consider, you know.
I struggle with, like, it's not signed, and there's actually directives in here. So I know there's a lot of opinions in that, but like, I'll read you a sentence, for example. Finally, parking along Wing Road is in the row and needs to be eliminated. So
Road right of way.
Okay, that's a directive though, and it's not signed. Someone's saying that has to happen, whoever wrote this.
Well, it's up to you. That's our suggestion to
No,
you.
it
It's your
says
road right away. It's your
Needs
road
to
right
be
of way.
eliminated. I didn't write this, that's why I'm trying to get clarification.
I know you didn't write it, but it's your road right of way. It's the township's road right of way. Here's an example. Are we liable if somebody smashes and gets killed in that road right of way because we allow them to park a car there? It's plain and simple. I don't have the answer, but you're allowing vehicles to park in the road right of way. Here's a chance to do away with that.
Yes, it is.
And it's judgment entry. So that's a suggestion, that's all I'm saying. It's a suggestion for you guys to consider when you deal with the patio, so.
And it's not even in question whether there's a right-of-way issue there.
No,
It's
the
our
buildings,
right-of-way.
the corner of the building. is-
Yeah.
And if they put the road where it was supposed to, where it's supposed to be, one corner of the building is in the road.
Well, the roads move in time. That road might have been in the right spot at
Right, yeah.
one point in time. They move. We've seen it at Messenger and
Oh, yeah.
Stafford, when we just did that resurfacing.
But when we.
And
when
the
we
other-
went
the other-
over it,
the other
when we
comparable
formed-
here-
When this judgment entry was formed, it was, the engineer told us that one corner of that building actually sits in the 60-foot. I mean, the pavement, if we were to put the pavement exactly where it's supposed to be, that one corner of the building would either be in it or right on the edge of it. So that was
Because
part of
that's
the
our
reason
right-of-way.
why this
That's
judgment.
where we're supposed to put the road.
Right.
The other comparable I'm thinking about here, Frank, is the county's south end of the patio.
Right.
And that parking, which is, nobody would approve that today if they tried to do something
Probably
like
not.
that. And I'm thinking, over here, when they redid this house across the street it went from residential to a business,
Right.
they put their parking on their property, but just off the right-of-way, where cars had to back into
Right.
the right-of-way, and the county put the kibosh on that
Right.
quick. So I don't know why this isn't something they'd be,
Well, like
interested
I
in
said, I don't know,
moving
you know,
to.
it's something that's pre-existing, you know, and maybe where that was something new, you know, I just know those, I'm just giving you guys some points to, you know, to consider when you make this, you know,
yeah,
meet with them.
and I appreciate that, thank you.
So who's in charge of enforcement on that then? Residents call the sheriff's department, who's parking on Wing Road? How's they gonna enforce?
Yeah, that's,
They're in the right away.
that would be the only way we could enforce it. Call the sheriff and say, there's cars parked in the road right away, just have them all towed.
I will tell you, Mr. Cooney did call me and asked me, and I pretty much told him that he would be receiving a notification from you guys as to what to do, you know.
Yeah, we had that surveyed by the engineer's office within days of patio management coming in here, when we had our first discussion over this, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's something we were interested in finding out exactly where the lines are,
Is that something
right away.
that people are kinda ignorant, and they don't realize it's a right away, and maybe some signs should be put up?
I don't know, I'm gonna leave you to answer that one.
Well, we've been talking about this for months. I mean, this is no surprise.
No.
So, does the board have to make,
The board has to do it. I can't do it. It has to come from the board. Judgment entry is between the trustees and the patio and the judge, it's binding by the judge.
So what's current status with the patio? We said they
They're in
basically.
violation.
They're in violation, they know they're in violation.
They know they're in violation.
So, like I said, basically if we,
Send them a letter, ask them to come in, and if they choose not to come in, then call Chrissy and say, we want to enforce the judgment entry, boom.
because
They did come in, didn't they come in?
they did
once?
come in.
Yeah,
and we-
but they haven't come back. Have they given you what they want, or what they would like, if they want to modify?
No, they haven't come back with any,
There's,
No, when you sent the violation letter, that's when you start down the road towards enforcement, which happens at, I'm sorry to say, but at a snail's pace in county zoning issues, but that's where we're at.
Right.
That's where we're at. They didn't respond to your violation letter.
Well, they did, they came in,
this was in August of '25.
they came in and talked to you guys, or
Okay,
at some
all right.
point, I was not here that.
Well, then we need to,
When they came in,
indicate that we
so-
want to enforce.
There's 2 issues total from August. This has that's why I was confused, there's a ton of things on here. But the letter originally has 2 issues. The fence site, when they came in, they said, they just got the new fence. Mr. Phillips mentioned, yeah, it's not a bad thing for safety because you can see out, because that was one of their
Right.
renegotiations. So they did try to renegotiate that point, and the other point is the 8 PM, 10 PM music stuff, outside versus inside.
Right.
There was only ever 2 issues on the CJE and in your letter from August, I believe it was August. So that's all, that's what we have done. All this other stuff here,
It's just, it's for you guys to consider, plain and simple.
It was right after that, Riley, that it came to light where that actual right-of-way is too, because we asked for a survey.
so do we want to decide on the original letter since it's from 10 months? No, 8 months ago.
I'm for.
That's what
I'm
he
for
keeps
it.
saying. It says you're saying we have to do something.
You gotta get them to the table if you're gonna
They were here.
come up with a settlement.
Right.
there's the issue, do we want to,
Well, I guess the issue is, do you want to bring them in and hear their side and see what they want? Or do you just want to go ahead and file with Chrissy and tell her to enforce the judgment entry? I guess is what.
like I
But
said,
my understanding was originally that you guys wanted to call them in and have, discuss this and see what they wanted and see if if the 2 parties could come to some agreement. That was my understanding originally.
Yes, and when they did come to our meeting, there was a lot of hypotheticals discussed, and that goes nowhere.
Right, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, we gotta pin them down, and unless you just don't wanna modify it
well,
all.
I think that the music, going back to the history of it, where they basically neither one of them knew about the judgment entry, period.
Well,
Theoretically,
Yeah.
okay, but I'm going on what they said. So the music came after the fact, that now she knows about it, and they said, no, they're not gonna play the
They
music.
haven't done that to my knowledge, no, since they got the letter.
Okay, so then the main issue is whether
The fence.
the fence, whether we make them put the fence back up. And like I said, I think there is a safety issue. They made a valid point on being able to see out there. The parking on the road, if they're using that back entrance, they don't need to park on the road.
Right.
People park in the front, they've got an entrance, they've got a the side entrance accessible from the back parking lot. So, I mean, some of the workers park there just from a convenience standpoint.
Right.
But
They do sometimes,
but again,
sometimes they get deliveries there too,
but that's something we can enforce
Right,
regardless of
Right.
the current situation.
right,
All we have to do is tell them, hey, don't park here anymore, or you're in the road right away.
yeah.
So that's not really a negotiating point that they can bring up, because that's
No.
something we can enforce.
Do we have to buy signs to put up?
We can dig a ditch there.
That's right, it's good.
That works the best. But I mean, the thing is, can we put signs up there? Yes, but the signs would then be in the road right away, because the road right away goes
I
into
mean,
the
a sign
building.
on the building. Put a sign on the building.
Uh,
No parking.
Well, they'd have to do that. It's their building.
I like the ditch. Have Mike go up and dig a ditch.
That works. Except for the guys with the big trucks and jeeps, they just park in it anyway. Well, again, that's not something we're gonna address here at this point in time, it's in their ballpark. I said, you know, if we wanted to address it, say, okay, put the fence back up, move the cars, and it's all done.
Well, we gotta bring them in here at some point, because we really didn't, there was nobody moved off a go when we talked to them
Right,
last August.
that's what I'm
so.
saying, if, you know, if you want, call them in there and have a discussion, and I don't know what, I mean, I'm sure they wanna keep the fence where it is. I don't know.
Did they ever say why they just, did they get permission to do the fencing?
No, they did not get
You
permission.
No,
know,
they just unilaterally
Yeah, that's what I thought.
changed the fence one day.
We're all allowed to do that, right?
No, they're not allowed to do that, that was a
No.
violation of the, well, that's why they got cited,
And
because
yes,
that's where it's sitting right now, there's,
And
so
they should-
they've been cited, they had two options, they could either tear the new fence down, put the old fence back up, or come to us and try to negotiate to keep the new fence down.
Or maybe put part of it up, I don't know, you know. I mean, one of the concerns is, from what I understand from the people, is would be to the west, you know, because the fence is so low, you know, everything carries right over, maybe put that west side it back up, I don't know. You know, I'm just throwing out things that have been thrown at me, so to speak, but, you know, I just felt that, you know, I wanted to reach out, and if she would respond, she did, and that's what we did. We kind of put together a little, what needs to be done and how we go about it, so.
All right.
So, what's the action plan? Are they gonna come in? Are we gonna,
Well, right now, they haven't taken any action on their part, and we haven't. I mean, the only action, unless they come in again, our action would be to just make them put the fence back up. But if we do that, then that would make them come back in and say, try to negotiate, which is kind of where they were at a few months ago. So,
I guess then we have to, request they put the fence back up and meet the judgment entry, which will get them in here to talk. I mean, you know, it will get them in here.
I would suggest you write a letter to that, you know, that you guys must follow the judgment entry, and, or we're gonna go to the court and give
Unless
them a
there's,
time frame.
unless there's some enforcement, nobody's really inclined to do anything, you know, so.
But just, you know.
Yeah, we gotta.
That August letter, you gave them, I believe, 3 days to put the fence back up and change it.
Or come in here, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a 3-day window on that one last August, just for the record.
And they did come in, but we just,
To
and
negotiate.
they didn't go any further, that's all.
well, we just heard what they had to say, but we didn't make any decisions on it, we just.
I don't know if you want that in some type of motion form, but motion to enforce the judgment entry. Now are we
We got a
gonna,
motion on the table, guys.
now are we gonna, you know, stick with, if they come in and want to negotiate something, it's quite possible we will modify. I guess we don't have a history of doing that, so it's not necessary, but,
What?
This is why, I remember years back meeting with the ice palace owners up at the prosecutor's office. So this is how these things progress.
Right.
You're here. Does the fence bother you more or the music? And before you say both, because I know they're both concerns and they're out of the CJE in question, if there was some modification, like Mr. Phillips brought up safety, for people being able to see, especially you want that back parking lot now to be 100% capacity parking. If you enforce getting rid of the east and the south parking. So with that being said, every single car will be in that line of sight from the fences. You and Mr. Bayes, this directly affects you. You are the two neighbors that have been here for the last year, 10 years, questioning these things.
Right.
Is there a compromise? What do you want to see? Is the fence, the other fence was ugly.
Right, the fence was supposed to be up for specifically a smoking area only.
Okay.
Not for eating, not for another bar, not for anything else outdoors. So if they're going to be out there smoking, why does it matter if the fence goes back to what it was supposed to be? Number one, it should be that way. They should absolutely go back. Because no vans are even supposed to be out there. So that patio was just for smokers.
To not see somebody smoking when they're standing up.
Well,
Well,
because
no,
they
the
didn't
law,
want them up
back
front.
then, the law said you could not smoke inside the building.
Constitutional.
No,
Yeah.
the height of the fence though is to hide the smokers.
Well, I think
Is that what you want to go back to that?
I don't think it was meant to hide the smokers. The fence was just more of a sound buffer than,
Privacy, sort of like, yeah.
I mean, and I'm not talking music sound, just chattering smokers, whatever, just to isolate that
But now
area
they've moved
from.
that to just the chattering smokers to dining, drinking, and music out there, which was not what it was designed to be. I think you would feel the same way if it was in your backyard. Now,
I mean,
you asked the question, that's what I'm saying. I do not want to modify. It should go back to what it was.
No, with the
That's all
music,
I have.
the music thing, they have that already at 8 PM for the weekdays and 10 PM on the weekends,
But
inside.
not- Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Like a
There's no
door,
modification on that either. Why, no one wants it outside.
that we'd have to enforce, like the garage door being down, the doors being shut in the building, or else the noise is going to leave the building
It does leave the building. And
regardless.
it was always fine before, when they did it before, and they were all inside. There was never a problem. But you put a roll-up door, and put them on the deck, and you put speakers, now we have a problem. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Well, PJ, you wanna just do, is that a?
I was getting close to a motion there. I think I asked if you wanted one. Yeah, I think in order to get to some settlement or enforcement, we have to enforce. So that would be my motion, is that we enforce the judgment entry and notify the
Put the fence back.
management that that's what.
I'm sorry, PJ, I couldn't hear that. What was the motion for?
Motion to enforce the judgment entry.
Okay.
I'll second.
What about the motion before this one, when
They already
Ryan called
voted
for
on that.
discussion?
That was on the
Oh, yeah.
zoning fees. They
No.
already
That was zoning
voted on
fees,
it.
that's right, that was zoning fees.
That was on
It
the
was
zoning
zoning
fees,
fees.
and they already voted and
Yeah,
approved.
you're right, he's right. We did.
We didn't do the zoning fees, now we're on to the patio.
Yeah, yeah.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. Okay. All right, that's it for zoning issues. Anything else for Frank?
Who's gonna write, you're gonna write the somebody's gonna write the letter on behalf of the trustees and send it to the prosecutor to enforce that judgment entered? Is that what I understand?
Yes.
Okay.
If they come in and try and compromise on the judgment, are you guys gonna notify the affected neighbors?
There's the way I recall it, if there's gonna be any modification, it's legally required that there be a public hearing.
Correct.
So right now, we're not doing any modification, we're just enforcing what's in play right now. Okay, so, any other questions for Frank? All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Trustee reports, PJ.
Just a little bit tonight. Went to the Girl Scout ceremony yesterday for bronze, silver, and gold medal awards, and lots of Auburn kids. There were a lot of Auburn kids there. They don't delineate, you know, as close to some of the Boy Scout things we've had come across here lately,
Yeah,
but
that's
they're very much all on the same page there. But I knew several of the kids there. It was kind of nice and well attended, and they run a tight ship for those Girl Scout ceremonies. Mike, you're well aware of that. A couple things that I don't believe are on the agenda is we need to determine a prevailing wage coordinator for actually all of our road projects, but in particular, which got our attention was OPWC projects. It's always been done. It was Emmerich Gordon, who was the previous superintendent. And I'm gonna make a motion that we appoint Mark Sturm, the prevailing wage coordinator for road projects. Road projects only, in case we get into something big on the road. This will be just for road projects. So there's a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Okay.
Is there pay or anything attached to it, or it's just a voluntary?
Yeah, it's just something somebody's gotta do, so we have to appoint
Yeah, he's
someone.
our, what title did we give him? He's like our
Foreman.
assistant.
He's foreman.
Yeah, he's foreman. It's appropriate, I mean, he's on the job all the time, so that's where that's what we need there. So we got a motion and a second.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
One more thing, Dan, and I'm gonna find it again. I think I shuffled it back in my papers. But I've been a Melzer customer for a long time for fuel. And I got something from them that, remember the letter we got from Middlefield Bank when they got hacked? Remember that?
Yeah.
So did Melzer's. And I can tell you, I have given them, I have exchanged made no electronic payments with them or anything, but we probably do.
No, we don't.
We don't? I'm gonna give you this letter anyway,
Yeah,
because it really doesn't apply to me. It
Maybe
could
that's-
apply here.
Maybe that's why we didn't get a letter, because I didn't.
Yeah, I got it today in the mailbox. I barely had a chance to look at it.
Personal or? for-
It came to me. Well, yeah, the farm.
Oh, okay.
I'll find it here. I'll slip it down to you. That's all I have.
Okay, Riley.
Okay, so over the last couple of weeks, I went to our museum. Mr. Kavanaugh mentioned he was in there. There might have been some new water spots in the ceiling. So I went up there. I hadn't been there before anyway, so it was a great trip. And I went up in the attic, and there are holes like where the sunshine comes through the roof. Maybe it's been like that for 20 years, but it's at the point, I think, where fix it or lose it type of deal. I know that building doesn't get much use, so it's hard to justify spending money on it, but there's physical holes in the slate. Beautiful slate roof, by the way. It's probably at least 100 and some years old. So we had talked. It's hard to find slate roofers that still do that. I did manage to find a gentleman, and he came out, and basically what I told him was, because we don't really know what's up there, there's a lot of holes, there's a lot of problems. If he spends the day, and here's his quote, he said install 8 to 10 slates. Well, he's gonna bring a stack of matching slate and just inspect the entire roof and look for more than just that hole. There's some that are sliding off the side that are barely hanging on. I asked him also that the chimney, I don't know when the last time it was tuck point or sealed or anything for that matter, so he's gonna inspect that and address that at the same time because he'll be up there. Secure loose flashing around the rake edge. He's gonna inspect the entire thing while he's here, clean up, haul away all the debris. I could search for more quotes. Even on Google, there's not a lot of people that say they do slate actively anymore. But the quote here was for $1,500, and I wanted to know what you guys think of that.
It sounds like he knows what he's doing. $1,500
Yeah,
doesn't sound unreasonable for any amount of slate work.
Last time we did some work on that roof, it's been a while, it was right around when we did the full rehab on it, you know. Fence maker and I got to talk, because I knew it was a Newberry guy, I got the name for you, I'm not gonna read it. But I'm not,
This guy came from Rocky River, I believe.
yeah, here's the guy.
And then there's a couple real fancy places that do it, but I figured that cost would probably be more. They were out of Moreland Hills area and that.
That's the guy that did the last work here.
So we can maybe just,
I'd say it sounds reasonable. Do you want to make a motion?
yeah, I'd like to motion just to have the slate repaired and all the things I mentioned at the museum. 11742 East Washington is the address there.
And quote for JM General Contractors is $1,500.
Correct.
I'll second.
Yes, sir.
Is that money to come out of the museum fund that,
From the church?
from the church?
Might as well.
Well, they were, it was pretty specific what you could spend that on. It was for more access to the museum.
I thought maybe it said repairs as well.
It could be.
Because I think we've already spent some money on repairs.
It
Didn't
could
we
be,
Do
but-
something last year?
Let's make sure that we fit their,
Yeah,
But
I
there
confirm
was-
if we can take it out of there, then fine. If not, just take it from land acquisition and improvement fund.
I think you could, Dan, I think you could, but let's double check that, because
Okay.
we don't want to step on those toes again.
So we got a motion to repair the roof.
I seconded.
PJ? Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Without boring you with all of the details, what I'm going to work on over the next couple months pertaining to properties, and it kind of goes hand in hand with some of the OTARMA suggestions we get. I'd like to identify all of our properties and set up, this is complicated, but there's several things that could possibly be done. Dan and I had spoke about putting reserves funds in, because if you've noticed, we're talking a lot about repairs right now. The roof on Town Hall, also in very bad shape. There's bricks ready to fall off the chimney. Adam Hall, big issue. Museum. This building is in relatively good shape, but there's multiple parts to what I'd like to do. Set up, like they recommend, annual or even monthly inspections if it calls for it. Figure out what we've got and what we should start saving for as these buildings get older and have problems. But some of my notes would be even the Salt Dome, admin building, Town Hall, Adam Hall, the museum, both cemeteries properties, the fire department building, the Parker building, the pavilion, and the playground, and we have a dump site on 44. So I wanted to ask, does anyone know any other properties they can think of that I'm forgetting?
Well, you can add HVAC systems, generators, anything over like $5,000 that may need replaced or repaired.
For a reserve fund?
Usually.
So I'm gonna work on summarizing what we have and then what we should be looking for, and maybe it would appease Otarma at the same time, so it'd be a win-win project. So that's something I'm gonna work on, like checking the playground spring through fall, weekly, what they suggest, that will tie into this. And then I could present that at a later date, and then I won't have to tell you about all the little things I'm trying to fix, like if you notice at Adam Hall, the split rail fencing, there's probably 4 or 5 sections that are rotted, destroyed, knocked down. It's not a good look if we want people to come here and have their wedding receptions or have their events or their funerals. We need to present all of our buildings, but that building in particular should be presented very well. But these things have gone, I think, a long time without being addressed, so that's what I'm going to focus on. But I really sincerely want to know, does anyone know any other buildings? Because I've been doing this for 2 months, and those are all the ones I could identify as being important.
Well, I think you're onto that split rails at the end of its life. We made that call a couple of years ago at the cemetery and took it all out and put up a wrought iron fence.
No, Adam Hall?
No, it's cemetery. Yeah, Adam Hall, split rail.
Yeah, the wood. Right.
We had split rail at the cemetery 2 years ago,
And
3
then
years ago.
They got upgraded.
Well, they're rotten, those posts rot, you know, they just,
Plus a lot of the road work they did there.
snowplows hit it
Yeah,
too hard and they're already
it's
fragile,
tough, so.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, split rail has a limited life. We think that wrought iron's gonna last a lot longer, but it was pricey.
My goal is not to spend a bunch of money, but at the same time, if we don't rein in on some of these obvious repairs, it's going to cost us more. It's a use it or lose it type thing with these buildings. To just let them get dilapidated, I think, is not a good reflection of Auburn, especially when we're taking people's monies and hosting them at that building or that building. So unfortunately, the times kind of came from the depreciation aspect on a lot of these buildings all at the same time. And then lastly, this is important, there's a deadline for some funds that may be available from our Ohio State Rep and Senator's offices, and I think the deadline's March 12th. What I need to check on with you two is, this is concerning bathrooms up at the community park. The septic system is in, it's sitting idle. If the goal would be to get the bathrooms so everyone can use them this summer, there's a lot of moving parts to that, but I'll try. Right now, I would like to ask what we're willing to match when a bid comes in. And based on my construction knowledge, I'm gonna assume, I have pictures and stuff, but to get ADA, male, female bathrooms, we could spend anywhere from 40 to 60 grand, that type of range. If we agree to match, then we could put together that proposal and get it sent before the March 12th deadline, hoping that the state would match 50%.
Yeah, I spoke about it last meeting where they sent Representative Landis, or State Senator Landis's office, sent the application to us by mistake.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I spoke with a representative from Steve Demetrius' office Friday, and he said, yes, get both proposals in, or get a proposal in, or application into both state and the House offices before that deadline. And we could agree to match any amount of funds. It doesn't have to be 50%. All they are looking for is community involvement. They don't want to foot the whole bill. So if it's like 80,000, and if we only want to put 20 into it, that's fine, or 40, that's fine too.
Roughly speaking, what we have land acquisition?
Plenty, enough. We've got about 80,000 right now.
Personally, I'd be willing to, just to get those bathrooms in there, if we have to take the whole 80,000, that's what that money's for.
Well, there's some
We can
NOPEC
save
money,
that.
isn't there some NOPEC money floating around?
We got
Not
about
enough.
15.
Well, we got
15.
50 out of 15 sitting here from the NOPEC energizing grant. So,
Well, the question is now, how much is Township willing to contribute, let's say, contribute to the project?
Well, I think you just gave us a ballpark from 40 up to, what, 80, is that what you said?
I hope it's 40 to 60, but to save money also, I'm gonna reach out to Geauga Park District. They put in extremely similar bathrooms that we could consider at Beartown Lakes recently. ADA, they're real nice, part of that new pirate ship park they put in on the lake. So I'm gonna hope that they'll, and I've never done this, but if they hand over the drawings and what their cost was, we would have a much better idea. So I'll send that email out tomorrow. We just need to, I think, give a general idea of what we think it'll cost and maybe a bid to just get it into the state's hands so we have a chance at getting this money, would be my goal.
yeah, if we can get like just a dollar figure and say, okay, yeah, if it's 100,000, then we can put 50 in.
I'm gonna say there's no better use for that NOPEC money than this.
Oh, absolutely.
So that, I would go 100% of that. And I would say we could match that at least out of land acquisition, another 15, so there's 30,000 right there, which should get us away. There's gonna be some site work, and there's gonna be some, ingress egress work to do as well, but I think $30,000 would get some attention.
That's, yeah, if we can get a quote around 60, that'd be, so we want a motion to match.
Well, it
if we're
doesn't
so-
matter if it's 60, 80, if all we're willing to contribute is 30, then 30, that's.
I would
They
say,
didn't say it had
I
to be
wouldn't limit us,
50-50.
Dan, I wouldn't limit us to 30, but I would say we can do at least 30 or something along
Well,
those
then are
lines.
you saying 50% of whatever the cost
Well,
is?
that we don't know.
Right.
You'd have to see us, you'd have to
How
see
long
some
good
first.
till the cost comes up to be.
But I gotta give them a number on the application, so that's all I'm looking for, is a number.
I think from our side of things, we can adjust it when we get closer to knowing.
Well, the amount we have available, I'd up to 30 to 50,000.
Okay.
That still leaves us some slush in there.
Match.
If you get the 15 out, so it's really only 35 out of land acquisition. So 50,000.
I think we're trying to demonstrate our willingness to
Yeah.
participate in
I think
this.
50,000 demonstrates
And
some
how
willingness.
important this project is, because it is.
I think we meet all the criteria, there's no guarantee we're gonna get awarded.
No,
Yeah, all we can do is try.
But I think we have.
It's worth a try, I agree.
Good chance.
I agree.
Okay, so motion to designate $50,000 as
Matching.
matching
Initial matching for bathrooms.
for bathrooms for the park.
Yeah, that's on the higher end, but I think we want to get somebody's attention. I think that's probably called for, so I'm not going to argue too much with that. It's an important project, so I'm in.
You have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
EJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Okay, and the last little thing I forgot to mention with Adam Hall, now that the ice dams, as spring's here, not to look to spend more money, but most of you haven't been in the building probably recently. There is quite a bit of damage down the two main sections that run north and south of the building. That's another focus, is to get some interior drywall paint company in there ASAP before all the spring and summer events and the people start using the building. They don't have to look at all the damages that happened this winter. So that's the last of what I'm making a priority for what I'm working on. And that is it.
Can we get a quote on that and just get it fixed?
Yeah, right.
We look at painters, drywallers, what are you looking?
Well,
We've got a history with painters up there, so you might want to check with Nancy here.
Yeah,
Have her
see who
full
we've used
file.
in the past. Because some of the people we've used in the past, a couple times they saved us money because they had leftover paint that we had up there. And they were willing to come in and use what we had, so saved a couple bucks on paint anyway.
would you two want to field some of the locals that do this work and put something on the website for a few days, or even Facebook, because we don't.
Sure, there's a lot of water to come yet, so yeah, I would say that'd be a fine idea to let them know we want to spruce it up, and then
I mean, for a local thing like that, I think, you know, website is perfect, just saying we're looking for
Interiors.
interior painters.
Okay. That's all, thank you.
All right, thank you, Roy. Dan?
Okay, since our last meeting, I was able to close out the books for 2025 and reconcile January. And since our last meeting, I issued 15 electronic payments for $95,106.50 and 16 warrants for $407,168.04. The largest one being our payment, our first payment of 3 to the fire department that was for $380,873.18. So total warrants was $407,168.04. Total of $502,274.54. As of January 31st, our account balances in our primary checking, $323,600.72. In our Star Ohio account, $2,035,269.26. As I mentioned, we did close the books. I'm waiting for the county to certify. I did send them a certificate of total amount from all sources, and it looks like our total, we ended up carrying over more than what we had budgeted. In August, I'm projecting what I think we're gonna spend in 2025, and we ended up carrying over about $500,000 more than what we had expected, which is a good thing. So our total estimated resources for next year is going to be about $6.7 million once they certify it. So we should have some extra money.
He's got to sign some of this stuff.
We also got already sending us our 2027 estimate for me to use for this upcoming budget. And apparently there are no levies expiring in tax year 2025. We do have a levy that's expiring this year. Last collection is in 2027 and can be placed on the November ballot 1 year early. A renewal of this particular levy, first levied in 2008, would generate an estimated $279,321 per year at 100% collection, and would cost the owner of a single-family owner-occupied home with a market value of $100,020.43 per year. So,
yeah, that's Road and Bridge. Well, I don't know, there's some school of thought that says you renew early, because that way you got a couple chances, but as we found out in the past, that doesn't always work so great. I don't know, I think I'd run it next year at this point.
There's only $20 per $100,000 of assessed value, so it's a pretty small one, right?
Yeah, it's a good part of our, we kind of build the budget around the 4 levies that we have, and the reason there's 4 levies is because the thought was that you put it before the voters, are we doing a good job? And you get your feedback that way, rather than through innuendo or comments, it's kind of asking for support for what we're doing.
okay, and as you probably know, the Bainbridge Library had their property tax abolishment panel. I was asked to be on the panel along with Karen Walder, Fiscal Officer, Russell Township, Christina O'Brien, one of the Bainbridge trustees, and Tom Manning, I think the school board superintendent. It lasted about an hour and a half, and they asked us some questions, the moderator did, then they opened it up for the audience. We were mostly asked to share what the impact of it would be on our services if this constitutional amendment passed, and they didn't, and we were no longer getting our revenue from property taxes. We would probably be able to last maybe a year and a quarter because of the way they collect the taxes. But we would have no, since I think it's 92% of all of our revenue comes from property taxes. The road department wouldn't be able to function, wouldn't have money for the fire department. All of our buildings, repairs, maintenance, we have to close those, and then we lose the income on those. You know, and I tried to, explain to the residents that, road repaving is like $350,000 a mile. And that's what, every 13 years, I think, we go through the developments and do that. And I mean, the costs just keep going up. But after 30 years or more, then they start to fall apart, and you gotta reconstruct them at $1 million a mile, which we just did last year in that Moreland subdivision, right, PJ?
Yes, we did.
So, and I expressed how generous I think the Auburn residents have been over the years in passing our levies. I don't think we've had one fail in over 20 years, that I can recall. And, but there was some dissension in the audience. A few people got upset and stormed out and whatnot, but I mean, there's not a lot of alternatives. I know they tried to cap the inside millage with a bill this year with inflation, so the inside millage wouldn't skyrocket. But it could be it could throw the state into chaos. There's some thought that the state would just like to see the townships go away. So I don't know. I kind of like this local form of government.
Well, the townships go away, there wouldn't be much of a state.
Well, then you'd have to merge with others, become cities and villages, and I don't know. Because we're limited as to what we can do. I mean, we could get sales, and the state could levy a sales and income tax, but then they'd be in charge of the money and handing it out.
They flow through
And we still wouldn't
Columbus.
get it out.
Then it would go down to the county, but the county's limited as to what they can do, so. Yeah, it's a big mess, so.
Hey, Dan,
Yes, sir.
do the taxpayers realize how little they pay for the townships and the county? 70% of the money that they receive from property taxes goes directly to the schools. What did the schools try to say about their funds?
Well, the schools have they have the ability to levy an income tax.
The schools do.
Yes.
That has to go on a ballot, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So if the people say, no, you're not gonna have that, what are they gonna do?
Well, they'll be in the same shape.
There'll be no Kenston.
They'll be in the same shape. we're
Cambridge
in.
School or
Right.
Franklin School District.
Right.
That was a very informative meeting. I was there. You did a really good job with that. And it just seems there's so much more that has to be considered before we do that,
Unfortunately, once it goes on the ballot, if they get enough signatures, there's nothing anyone can say about it. Because if they amend the Constitution, it's up to the voters. That's why they're trying to educate people to say, hey. But in all fairness, the state's done nothing to help over the years, so.
You guys filled the house up there. I called 2 days ahead of time wanting to go. I was 20-something on the waiting list.
Really?
Yeah.
And they had an overflow area too.
They did. We actually ended up going there because there was a couple little outbursts. So I'm not really comfortable there. I'm going up there. I want to be behind the glass.
I know.
The meeting next week is already sold out.
Is it
Mentioned
really?
people were watching it on video too, so.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the Chardonnay still. Okay.
The only other thing I have, is anybody, has anyone on the board received a monthly report from the sexton that you're aware of? Because I first sent him an email January 14th, I didn't get a report. I don't have a report for January. I know there was a burial on January 31st. There's been a lot of activity in February. I don't have a report. And he did give me a report for 2025 back in the middle of January. And I spent the whole weekend cross-referencing that report against all the receipts I have. And I also have a deed book. I signed 2 deeds today. Does anybody know what happens to these deeds when we sign them? Where do they go?
One goes in the deed book, I believe, and a copy goes to the
Purchaser?
participant.
So, should I, since there's no job description or process, should I be taking this other copy since I have the deed book now? Am I allowed to do that?
He's got a mailbox over here. You might want to look in there because I know Nancy used to distribute those in such a
Distribute what?
manner.
Distribute what?
The deed, but Michael would get the deed signed, or we'd sign them here.
Well, no, we just signed 2 of them tonight.
Right, and we signed, we've signed some previously too.
So one copy.
Nancy would
goes in the deed
separate them out and
book.
put them wherever the,
So can I, I'm
Wherever
just
they
asking,
belong.
I don't have the process. Can I take this other copy and put it in the deed book?
Yes,
yeah, you have the deed book, so yeah, you're the only one that can.
and those deeds go to the,
I'll just give these, I normally just hand them in with all the other paperwork. All right, so in my analysis, I found out that from last, okay, first of all, he had mentioned he had an error in the one foundation, Headstone Foundation. And there was $100 error and he was going to reimburse us. I haven't gotten that check yet. Deed 117 in the deed book that was in his report dated August 18th, it was for 2 grave sites, which would, it's a resident, would be $250 each. I have no receipt and no record of payment. Deed 121 that's in the deed book for 2 grave sites, non-resident, $600 each. I have no receipt and no record of payment. Deed number 123, 1 grave site, December 15th, non-resident, it would be $600, no receipt and no record of payment. There's a deed 124 listed in the table of contents deed book, which is right here, but the deed's not in the book. Says it should be in there, but it's not, so I have no idea what it's for. Deed number 125, no record of it in the book or anywhere, and there's got to be one, or it's void, I don't know. And then we have deeds 126 and 127 here, which I do have receipts for those. So I've also asked for, I asked back in January for a receipt book. Does he hand a receipt to the resident or non-resident when they purchase?
I believe Nancy writes the receipts.
No. Nancy gets the checks. I know this. Nancy gets the checks from Mike, who then turns them into Nancy, and she receipts them from the sexton. What I'm asking, does the resident, because I've got multiple grave sites from multiple people, all in one receipt that Nancy generates. I'm asking, does the sexton give the resident a receipt? Like zoning gives the resident a receipt when they take out an application and pay a zoning fee. So we have zoning fees, or we have cemetery fees and burial, gravesite purchases. Shouldn't the sexton have a receipt book that he gives when he gets a check, a payment, shouldn't we be issuing him, or shouldn't he be issuing them a receipt?
I think that's a good question for the cemetery sexton.
Yeah, as far as, like I said, when I talked, the only information I got was that any monies received, that Nancy did receiving, that Sexton did not, so.
Well,
If he is doing that, then you're gonna have to get that information from him.
well, we've got $2,300 of sales with no, I have no record of ever receiving any money. So I don't know how you want to proceed with that.
I think you ask him to reconcile.
Well, I've tried reconciling. He's been in here like 3, 4 different times. He's never once come into my office. I've emailed him and I emailed him all this information.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tonight you did.
And
Well,
Dan's
he's had
defense,
4 months.
he hasn't replied to my email, it's been 2 months, so. And just to, not from the money side of things, but I did have time to go over Crypt Keeper and look through some of the data that was dropped off to me right before the last meeting. When we hand this over to the county, it's not going to absolve us of our poor accountability over the last several decades that I can see. I mean, for example, there's internments that have happened, but they're not in the system. So, for example, the county will show that no one has been buried when we get this new system back, but somebody is there. And the only way, it's very complicated, the only way to really verify all this, there's 6 different systems that the county would have to toggle between to really understand what happened because the records don't match. Crypt Keeper are receipt books, a very old Excel file, the deed books which we just got back, those were critical. And the maps, Mylars, we still don't have in the building. And then you'd have to bounce between UAN and some of the accounting software to verify the money. The problem I was seeing too is as the money comes in, even, let's say it gets held for a year, and then he just drops off $1,000, $2,000 a year late. These are uncashed checks that somebody has outstanding. Well, the notes aren't there specifying that money where it actually applies to. So the controls have been really, really screwed up here, and just in a short amount of time, there's going to be quite a few problems as we pass this data over. So it's real serious what Mr. Matsko is asking for, getting this money in on time, understanding where the deeds are, and we're backtracking here trying to fix decades worth of problems before we get this fancy new system that someone's going to work really hard on, and then it's not going to be right. You know, people are not going to be where they're supposed to be, etc. It won't be a good look. So the email.
Have we used the wrong grade that you're aware of? We put somebody in the wrong location?
That's a phenomenal question. If you want to work with me on all 6 of these things, verifying, because I already have problems, and this is just spending like a half hour in the program. There's people I know that are interned that aren't showing up in his system as interned. So the county is going to show us that the grave is empty. Now, again, this was very quick.
This is that thing.
If I look at 10 or 20 years worth of data, I would bet that this is going to be a recurring issue across a lot of different burials, unfortunately. I guess what I'm saying is the email Mr. Matsko sent out earlier, I think we should really make sure we get good answers to this stuff because...
Sure you should, absolutely. Give him a chance to answer that. It was like at 5:20 tonight.
Right, to my point, he didn't even reply to my email from 2 months ago. When I started all of this asking for our data to come back in-house, we still don't have... It hasn't been 2 months? I sent it to him on January 5th.
Now, we've heard that from you a lot.
Right.
Nobody replies to my emails. Nobody replies to my emails. Nobody replies to my
Well,
emails.
we're getting, it's not fun to chase people down, but to be honest, when we had 0% of our data in the building.
I get
from a
that.
gentleman
I
that-
got that.
from a gentleman that quit his
This is your
job.
problem to deal with. The residents don't solve that problem. This is the trustee problem to deal with.
So as I said, we should take it very seriously.
I mean, you know, Frank comes every month,
Mhm.
presents a report. The road superintendent comes every month. Mr. Phillips comes every month.
That had
But
him
they-
come every month like
No,
you
they
requested.
voted, no, they said he's.
We asked for a monthly paper report.
And you said he
which
didn't
has
have
not
to come to
done.
the meeting.
Yeah,
If
which
he
he
was
has not
here,
done.
we could ask him these questions. That's my point. But you didn't want him here.
You're right, it is a trustee job though. And in 2 months, I've got us data we've been missing for arguably 20 years. And it was really hard, it should have been, and we don't have all of it yet. And we're getting ready to cut over to a county system and have them help us design a very nice thing. But to quote, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, if we send them bad stuff, we're going to get bad stuff in return. So I'm trying really hard to get everything we have and check it.
Do they
And no one else
cross-reference?
is, except Mr. Matsko.
Do they cross-reference with Find a Grave?
Does the county cross-reference with Find a Grave? Is that a system that you know is correct?
They have been for everybody I've looked up.
So should we could just give them that?
It's like a national database.
is.
You know, it's probably not 100% accurate.
Probably not, but
Yeah,
It's a
like-
it's a
like-
volunteer thing.
Yeah, it's like Wikipedia, you know, you can
Kind of.
add stuff to it. It's, yeah.
so we know we have a problem. You're trying to get it addressed. We're at least making some progress. You got something from him. It's not accurate, but now go back to him and find out where the pieces are.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. I mean, there's missing money,
Can I comment?
so, on top of all the errors. So yeah, it's a serious issue.
How long is the township gonna put up with this? Fire him, have him return everything he's got enough grounds to do it. Okay, everything's documented, all the emails, the paperwork. Fire him and have him return anything that's pertinent to his job. But all I've seen is reappointing him every time. That makes no sense. As a taxpayer,
Isn't he trying to get out though?
go ask him, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they told us he's trying to get out.
Who's they?
Trustees told us he's trying to get out,
Get out of what?
out of the Sexton's job.
But they keep appointing him.
Until
No,
he
he's
was
never
assistant.
tried to get out of it.
No.
Yeah, he was supposed to teach somebody, my understanding, from July to December. And I guess there was several or a couple people interested in the job that maybe even they're local, or maybe they already work on our road department. So they'd be available 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, which is when business happens.
That's why we appointed him for the period we did, because it's pretty much where it's gonna end, and we're gonna transfer everything over there. So,
What's, transfer what? The data?
whatever, anything he has back, we're gonna make sure all the money comes back, all the paperwork comes back, everything comes back. At the end of that period, it'll all be done, we'll have everything back. If there's money missing, then we will send it to the prosecutor's office.
I've never seen a business run this way, ever.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even, I think it's irresponsible
Any job
to
I've had,
imply
anybody
there's
can.
missing money.
I think it's irresponsible, you haven't glanced at this stuff your entire career here.
I think
30-some years, you never even glanced at it.
Irresponsible.
That's crazy.
Well, it's because we
Crazy.
hire people to do that.
Yeah, but it's wrong. Like, checking in every, I don't know, decade, what you would have been like, oh, wow, we got really serious problems here. And you could have got us on track in like 1999.
I'm waiting for when the serious problems are. You're doing a lot of speculating.
No, this
I've
isn't
heard-
speculation. The proof is literally in these programs. If you want to sit down with me and go through Crypt Creeper, our receipt books, the Excel file, the deed books, everything Mr. Matsko was just talking about is factual. This is just like some of 2025, 1 year.
Yeah.
But you've never looked. That's my point. I've been working on
With
this.
zero time to respond. I think it's irresponsible to be throwing this out and mentioning prosecutor's office and things like this without giving the man a chance to respond.
I think a month ago, we agreed that he was gonna get the money, and we were talking about the lockbox out there and some opportunity for when the money comes in, we have 24 hours or 48 hours, per the ORC, to be responsible for money. We went over this already, and it hasn't happened.
Well, recently, we've been getting the checks, but I'm talking about a check from August. There was a St. John's Funeral Home called back in December saying, when are you gonna cash my check from April? for $500. So they had to reissue it because apparently he lost it. So, you know, there's not that much activity. I just don't understand why he can't manage it. It's obvious he's not managing it properly.
How much is he getting paid?
$444.
Wow. Wow.
My question is, the first meeting of February is when we addressed all this and talked about it. And you guys said that, well, he doesn't have to come in, but a report every month. Well, there should have been a report issued to you guys for this meeting today.
Yes, there should have been a paper report.
Where do we go from there? No plan for another 6 months?
No, we're not planning on appointing him for another 6 months. Just wanted to run this thing out, cancel it out to where he's at now, and then we're gonna transfer it. That's why we timed it, rather than do this monthly thing, so we can get things transferred over to the county, do whatever we have to do at that point in time. I mean, we can go out to his house right now and, you know, put bamboo shoots up his fingernails and stuff, but he might not be home, especially if it's gonna be raining, snowing tonight, so. Well, okay, everybody knows where everybody stands on this. Can we finish out the remainder of the agenda?
That's the end of my report.
That's where I was going. Where are we at? Okay, this one
We're
is
at
it.
the overtime policy first. We haven't
Oh.
done.
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing. Well, I reviewed what Dan had there. I had no problem with that, so I'll make a motion to accept the changes to the policy regarding overtime for the road.
I'll second.
As I wrote it, or
As written.
is everybody okay with it?
Yes.
And then you'll direct Nancy to change the name. TJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
and Michael.
Yes.
Can I just add one thing I'd like to, seeing as how the season's already passed and those holidays, I would just ask if the board is willing to give each road department member a $200 bonus for this winter, and put it in this week's paycheck. That would be $1,000 total.
I have no problem with that.
I'll motion.
Yeah, I think they're deserving. There's no legal hitch with a bonus?
No? Other departments do it.
Yeah,
So
I think our guys did a dynamite job this year, and you gotta remember, 2 of them were brand new going into this, so they hit the ground running.
Okay, I'll make the motion, Dan. $200 to each of the road workers.
Second?
Second.
TJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. So, change it over time policy. This one here. This is relative to the,
Yeah, no PEC, we're just leaving, that's just a reminder, placeholder. So, new,
this was the hold,
yeah,
harmless.
so there's a group, Geauga Soil and Water, they're renting Adam Hall for a seminar for 2 days at the end of April. They're kind of running out of time here. They started working on this last fall. They are going to cut around 40 trees on the southwest corner of the cemetery. They don't clean them up, but they're going to be in the woods, and that section is my understanding, the first to be expanded, as we're starting to run out of room at that cemetery. So it's really no harm, no foul for them to practice tree removal. So where we're at, they just want to confirm that, I'll go mark the trees, we already discussed it, Mr. Fenstermaker and I. That's all settled pretty well. The biggest question I had was a liability of people training with chainsaws. So I just simply asked, how do they handle it? Because they're a county entity. And they have all their participants sign a release and waiver form. So I want to get back to Mrs. Prunty and tell her yes or no for their event to proceed. Our choice as we sit here would be to ask the prosecutor or release our own hold harmless agreement if we have one in-house, or as this one reads already, it reads and private landowners as applicable. It lists, are we protected under theirs because it lists everyone involved, including the landowners. So that's up to you
You're the
two.
landowner, so.
I'm comfortable that if we could get a copy of all these ahead of time. I can ask her, I don't think that's a big ask.
Just give us a copy of all the waivers, and then I'd say that's adequate.
They were here last year and cut some trees, but it was far less than 40, so it wasn't as big of a deal. So that's why I wanted to check now that they have more people over 2 days cutting 40 trees, if we're protecting ourselves, if something were to go wrong up there. So this isn't the first time for them being here doing this, it's just expanded a little bit. So I wanted to try to get the paperwork in order.
Nothing wrong with a CYA, that's fine, but, the fact of the matter, it's America, anybody can sue anybody for anything at any time, but there's nothing wrong with attempting to cover it.
20 or 30 people with chainsaws who have no idea what they're wrong, what could possibly go wrong.
What are they doing with the litter?
Just leaving it lay there.
These are smaller trees.
Oh, I just didn't know, maybe they could timber some of that?
We did timber that as soon as we bought it.
Right.
These are
Okay.
not timber grade.
They're doing a lot with dead trees, they're pretty much firewood potential.
Right. So if we're in general agreement to use theirs, and I'll ask Mrs. Prunty, once they get theirs back, to provide us signed copies of all their release and waiver forms for our records. Otherwise, she'll have the green light to confirm their event and get it going at the end of April. I think it's the 27th, 28th, but I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, Division of Liquor Control, new permit for White Barn Brand LLC.
Yeah, I have from the Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control, notice to legislative authority, permit, it's for, White Barn Brands, please complete and return to the Division of Liquor whether or not there is a request for a hearing. Refer to this number and all requirees, must mark one of the following. We request a hearing on the advisability of issuing the permit and request that the hearing be held. We do not request a hearing. Is this that coffee shop?
Yes.
It's a coffee shop, they're at the C2 license, which is carry out for...
So I can put whiskey in my coffee?
Nobody's looking.
Well, you have to bring your own whiskey. This is like wine and spritzers. So, yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that we don't request a hearing because there's no reason to.
Yeah, we have never requested a hearing. The only thing we ever did was call the sheriff's department on occasion and ask if there was any issues.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever got a
And right now it's
negative
a
response
coffee
from the
shop,
sheriff
that's
either,
kind of-
so I think we're fine.
So you don't
I
think this is
we're
gonna
fine.
turn into a biker coffee shop?
I kind of doubt it.
Wait till the weather changes, you never can tell.
All
Be
right,
surprised the bicycle's on 44.
so we have a motion and a
Yeah,
second.
motion to waive that hearing.
I made the motion.
I'll
Yeah,
second.
Mike made a motion.
PJ,
I'll
second.
second.
TJ
All right.
second.
PJ?
Yep.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. Okay, we got a quote received from Spectrum for TV services at Service Garage and Administration Building. Service Garage used it You don't need cable TV here,
I
so.
don't think we do.
so.
Yeah, I don't think we
Unless
do.
anybody thinks we need TV here, we never have, so.
Weather Channel can come in pretty handy at the road department.
Yes, that is a handy one.
Um,
So it's $71
I
a
agree
month. I'll make a motion to approve the $71 for the service garage. The one
Second.
From Spectrum.
Second.
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. I'm gonna slip this one down here. Charter franchise fees received $4,423.25. Motion to put that into the land acquisition and improvement fund.
And I'll second it.
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Go back to Brian Seaboard there.
That, save that for you, PJ, that's why I jumped on the last one.
Yeah, Brian's been working for us all winter. Recent retiree from the county sheriff's department, and I gotta say, he, as he was phasing out the sheriff's department job, he traded times so he could be here for storms. This guy's really, he's proved himself, I'm thinking already. He does not have a CDL, but we do have one, the proper CDL class. But we do have a truck that he has been using all winter that is under the GVW, so. He's been plowing along with the other four guys. So I'm gonna make a motion, since his probation time is up here, and this fits his retirement schedule from the sheriff's department, to hire Brian Seaboard as a full-time position at the road department. You want a separate motion for compensation, Dan, or how you want to do it? Let's do a separate motion for
Okay, so-
compensation. Hire him full-time.
Okay, second?
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And since we have quite a few comparables, there's been quite a bit of hiring over there in the last few years. The intention, my motion would be to start him at a starting pay of $22.50 an hour.
Okay.
Where's he at now?
21.
21?
Okay, I'll second that.
Is that enough, you think?
Yes, we're looking at another training session for CDL.
Oh, okay. So what was that, 20?
$22.50. You look back, you don't have to look back very far, there's comparables there, Dan, so.
And then, for as far as his medical benefits go, they won't kick in till April.
That's 90 days,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
From
Yeah,
the
so-
time he started as a full 30-hour minimum a week. It constituted with the medical as starting, it was his new date, so 90 days from that.
Yeah.
He was considered full-time with Burnham and Flower, or Acrisure. So, he's aware of that, so.
Yeah, I think he's done all the research,
Yeah.
we told him, take your time and do whatever works out best for you.
All right, so we got a motion and a second?
Yeah.
Second?
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Okay.
Oh,
comments
and that's effective when?
Tomorrow.
The 2250.
Right now, I mean.
Today, okay.
Yeah. Effective today.
You used to tie those in with pay periods.
Yeah, that, it won't take effect till the next pay period, because we're behind.
Well, whatever works
Yeah, okay.
that way as well.
Okay. Any questions, comments, criticisms?
With so many people from the fire department here, I want to publicly thank them for the opportunity to use their house for a pancake breakfast this weekend. That was a great
I'm
community
remiss to
event.
not do that, thank you.
And thank you guys for helping haul tables and chairs and letting us use your house.
And how many people were there?
How many people were there?
551 paid meals
Wow.
in 4 hours.
How many stolen meals?
We donated several to very good people throughout the course of the day. The community involvement with that was fantastic. Each year, it's a brand new set of boys, so these are amateurs doing this every year. We had a tremendous amount of Eagle alumni, as I call them. My son, my family, other Eagle Scouts, other parents that are there. we do this for the community. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. The people in the community thank us for being there. I talk to people, how long you been here? We've been here for 20 years. It's a tremendous community event, so thank you guys for letting us do it. It's teaching our young boys how to be good citizens for the community, not just trash pickup, but this is a wonderful thing for the boys. So I appreciate everybody who participates, everybody who picks up signs for us, everybody who's there. Thank you for your support throughout the year. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. We really appreciate it. He's guided us through the years. And without him, we couldn't do this.
And
Thank
Dan's
you.
help from statistics from the class.
I think it's always been a great event. We had the one year where we had the beef sausage debacle. And I'm not saying whose fault that was, but they're actually pretty good once you make peace with them and realize you're eating like little meatloafs instead of sausages, but.
Should have served gravy instead of syrup back here.
I'd like to thank the road department for allowing us to put our equipment in their garage during the day. With the bad weather and everything, we had limited parking area, so we put the apparatus in the road garage so we could have more parking for the residents, they wouldn't have to walk. So it worked out great. Fortunately, the weather tapered off there, able to get all their work done before we started.
Talk about this thing.
Okay, and save the date, 3:10, Board of Zoning Appeals at 7 PM, we're right here, 3:12, Zoning Commission at 7 o'clock, and 3:16, the Board of Trustees will meet back here. On that, going once, going twice. Oh, well, sure. I'll handle that. Sure, we might want to
Get the ball rolling.
why not? One last thing. Today's date, Auburn Township Board of Trustees. Dear trustees, I am writing to formally notify you of my decision to retire from my administrative position with Auburn Township. As reflected in the attached calendar, my last day in office will be April 17th, 2026. I ask that the board honors their past practice of paying for vacation earned in the last year. If approved, my separation date will be May 15th, 2026. OPER sets the retirement schedule on the 1st to the 15th of the month after separation date. Therefore, my official OPER's retirement date will be June 1st, 2026. It is possible that I may be available to work 2 or 3 days per week between April 20th through May 31st by intermittently using vacation days between work days to help familiarize the new administrative assistant with her responsibilities. I'm sincerely grateful for my opportunities, experiences, and support I have received from Trustee Kavanaugh and Trustee Troyan during my 19 years with the Township. It has been a privilege to work alongside dedicated colleagues. Sincerely, Nancy Ray Dolezal. So, after 19 years, Nancy is finally retiring.
We'll miss her.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
As we'll work with her, had her get some information together regarding specific duties and stuff. We'll work over that in the next few days so we can get together something, put something in the paper. And she made I think she talked today, said that recently somebody did some advertising in some of these like monster type employment.
Sure, any reach we have there, I think we could use that. I mean,
So we may want to look at it. I don't think, we've done usually mostly local papers, but, we have social media now, and so, but we'll address that soon.
Yeah, that job for the
Unlike
time she was here was.
Hiram, we go more than 4 days when you quit. We retire early.
That job was like an amoeba here, really. She went from, pretty much a typist when she started here with some limited working, amongst the offices here, to organizing the picnics up here. Who knew that hiring a balloon shaper guy was gonna be something that the township ever dealt with? It's nothing you wanted to deal with, I'm sure. So, yeah, Nancy put a lot of those things together, and a lot of that was her own initiative, so we're gonna miss that.
Okay.
Do we want a motion for, she's asking for approval on that, just to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make a motion to pay her for her earned vacation. And we'll work out the details of which days she works or whatever, but we've done that in the past, so.
I'll second.
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes. Everybody's got this shut up and go home run. Okay, I'll take it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
PJ? Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.